Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we get a sneak preview of what Steve has in the works for Key West 2026.
Hello.
My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Jeff Andreezy and Katie Joyce.
Hey gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hey-oh, so yeah, we've got, I've been busy at work, both me and Whiskey Rick, and we've been putting this 2026 trip together already, kind of doing what we can. And I think it's a good one. I think it's going to be our best year yet. Should be a lot of fun. We'll talk about that agenda after the break. For right now, though, Beka said there's something that she wanted to talk about. What is that, Beka?
I do. So it's a little bit of a two-part question here.
Okay.
That has to do with these TV shows like Ghost Adventurers,
Okay.
The Curse of Oak Island,
Yep.
shows that have existed, because Ghost Adventurers has 27 seasons.
Okay.
Big surprise there. And same with things like Curse of Oak Island and other ones that nothing ever happens on these shows.
Uh-huh.
Nothing ever actually happens on these shows.
Right.
You never really see a ghost. You don't actually ever figure out if there's gold on the island. Is there a curse? Yeah, the curse is that the show is still on the air. But I want to know, for one, if you guys watch these types of shows, and two, how you feel about them.
Okay. I do not watch those shows. I've never even seen an episode. I do know about them, particularly because Kim Moser, who used to have a show on the ABV Network, she's like behind the scenes, like a producer on the one that's on Oak Island, because she lives like right up there, which is kind of cool. So I've heard a little bit about it from her and stuff like that, but it's not my thing. I'm not against stuff, even if I don't believe in it. I mean, I love Bigfoot and stuff like that, Mothman. I don't believe in that stuff, but I love hearing about it. I love talking to shows where they interview people that do believe and do stuff. So I'm not against the idea of the ghost show, but I don't know. It's not anything that interests me personally. So no.
I mean, it's these shows that are like I hesitate to say this because Seinfeld is a show about nothing, but these shows are
Right.
truly about nothing. Pretty
Right.
much. I mean, like the one good part about Ghost Adventures is they do interview some people beforehand and they point out these like cool spots, but then it's them like locked in this room or in this building overnight, and then they're like, we're gonna taunt the ghost as much as possible to make them come out. And then it's just them like yelling and being like, oh my God, Jimmy, he heard something. I heard him scream, but you don't hear Jimmy scream. And he
Right.
went, oh, I just saw something, but he didn't have his camera on. Or, oh my God, there must have been, the ghost turned off our cameras. Oh, it didn't come through because it's a ghost. And it's just them screaming and running around the whole time, and nothing happens.
Right. I mean,
I have no idea how these are still in the air. Like, I don't.
yeah, how can you squeeze 25 plus seasons out of it?
Yeah, 27 seasons?
Yeah.
I don't know what past like season 2. I'm very curious of what kind of interest there is or who is involved in the creation of this that the network keeps renewing it. And I have a hard time believing that there's that many people still watching it after this many seasons.
That's
I have no idea who the audience is who's watching that. Certainly not me.
Right.
Jeff is about to tell us that he's watching all of these.
Jeff loves this stuff.
No. I don't watch any of them unless I've been at my brother's, and my nephew, when he was younger, he got into a couple of these. But mostly it'd be I'd catch 1 or 2 episodes and say, is anything ever different? And nope, it's same thing every week. Yeah, no.
They're still digging on Oak Island. They're still running around screaming and taunting ghosts. Royce actually has it on downstairs right now.
Oh, he's watching it, huh?
He looked up, there's a place called Bob Mackey's.
Yeah.
In Wilder, Kentucky. And I guess it is creepy and it is haunted. There was a woman who had her head chopped off there in like the 1800s or 1700s or something. Then they hung her murderers. They hung them there. And then there was a girl Jolene, I think, and or Jocelyn. I don't remember what her name is. I think it might be Jocelyn. Her dad killed her lover, and so then she killed her dad, and then she killed herself. And like, there's supposed to be one of our employees goes and drinks there because they did tear down the original Bob Mackey's and built a new one. But people do say that like they see things moving around and there's orbs all over the place. But now they're rebuilding the old Bob Mackey's on the exact spot where there was all the weird, creepy stuff at. There's like, they call it a portal to hell.
Oh my gosh.
They're rebuilding there. So we watched that one just because it was interesting, but wasn't that interesting? No, the first 5 minutes were interesting, and then you move on to the next one. You just like listen to these stories. One guy got possessed by a demon in Bob Mackey's.
Of course. Of course.
He had to have an exorcism performed. But I mean, these shows are just like, I mean, our show is about nothing, but you know that coming into it.
This is true.
Yes.
You know what? And you
kind of
might,
like if you turn on like Kardashians or like Love After Lockup or Life After Lockup, there is nothing that happens in those shows, but based on the title and the premise of the show, you know that nothing is happening.
You know, it's just people talking about their lives.
Their mundane lives.
Ghost Adventures, you think you might see a ghost or you might like actually hear something come through, but they're like, I'm pretty sure the ghost just said, I'm going to kill Zach. And you listen, it's like, and you're like, that could have been anything.
Right.
That could have been any sound, and you can interpretate any sound into anything.
Yeah.
And if you say something, just like if you say something tastes like almonds on whiskey, people think they taste almonds. If you tell people that they're hearing, I'm going to kill Zach, they're going to go, you know what? I do hear that. It is saying I'm going to kill Zach.
Yeah.
Steve, when you were a kid, I remember a few feature-length movies that came out, and they were like In Search of Bigfoot, things like that. I went to those when I was a kid, and I kind of remember them. That's the whole Patterson video from the 60s or whenever it was. There were movies like that, but those never came up with anything, and I think it just bored the heck out of me eventually.
Really? It just bored you? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm done.
They still have those shows too, like In Search of Bigfoot and In Search of like Mothman and all those things, but they don't find anything.
They don't find anything. They'll have it's like the ghost shows, you know, they'll be out in the woods in the middle of the night and they'll hear something weird, but that could just be somebody like, hey, get out in the woods and make this weird unidentified noise.
Exactly.
And it's good for the show. So
they hear a bobcat. They hear an elk. They hear the people who live in the woods.
And they always got like fur that just needs to get tested, but for some reason, you know, they're like, we can solve this right now, but they never get it tested. They're like, you know, we gotta work on this. We got Bigfoot hair here, and, you know, so.
Just I mean, I hate to say it, my parents watched The Curse of Oak Island.
Okay. Well, they're just looking
So,
for something
like,
to do.
there's 2 viewers.
Are there
Right.
people who watch them like ironically? Like they identify like, oh, we're gonna watch this because we're gonna joke about how nothing happens again. Or
I mean,
I know.
So who
I
are
guess
the
it's-
advertisers on these shows? Is it
oh, that's a good question.
old man medications, or who's advertising?
I don't know. But I mean, at least I guess if you just have it as like a TV show that you just have like on in the background, it doesn't matter because if you miss a whole episode, the exact same thing's going to happen in the next episode, so it's really not a big deal.
Right.
And they'll
Like you can't
include it
miss
in, like,
you're
a
not going to
recap.
miss a show and miss anything that's happened.
Yeah.
Kind of
Like-
like a soap opera.
Those
Yeah.
are the ones that are notorious as well, that they tell you the only exciting parts in all of the previews leading up to the episode, and like the 3 episodes leading up to it of all the previews about it, and then any recap after they talk about it, they will mention the one exciting part. So you've already seen everything there is to see in that
Right.
episode
Yeah. Yeah.
20 times over.
Yeah, they literally do that on like they do recap before and
Yes.
and like they get to it at the end and then they show a recap again and then show the actual thing that happened and you're like I've
then-
heard them say that 12 times.
Then when it gets time in the show to get to that, they'll do the whole thing and get right up to the moment, and then they'll go to commercial, and then they'll come back and they'll play the previous 5 minutes that you just saw before the commercial to lead up to the exciting moment again. It's like they're jamming like 12 minutes worth of content into 43-minute TV show.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
And
Yeah.
then you find out that nothing actually happened, and so they have to fire Jake or something like that. Like, oh, what actually happened is Jake fell down the stairs, and that's what the clamor was, or like that's actually what they found is one of the guys like threw his cigarette in the hole, and that's what they thought that they found, or some stupid shit. And it's like, what the fuck? So
Right.
nothing actually happened,
Right.
or like you think someone's about to get hurt because they're going, whoa, 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 hey, 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 and that's like the entire promo is them yelling, whoa, 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 and call paramedics, but no one actually got hurt.
Right. Right.
I'm not wishing people hurt,
No. No.
clear, but
Right.
it's like, what the fuck?
We could do an episode at the Barrel Shop, Steve. I think the Ghost of Darren or something. I don't know.
Ghost of Darren. Yes. Yeah.
That would be
Darren.
fantastic.
Darren haunts the shop on days he's off. So yeah,
Do you guys?
because he does love that place. He does love that place. So
Do you guys
he's-
believe in ghosts?
I don't. No.
No, nothing.
Sadly, no.
I believe in like spirits, and especially like your ancestors, like leaving symbols for you, like your loved ones, like through like a cardinal and things like that. But I do believe though that the courthouse where I work is haunted.
Really.
But especially, and there's been a few instances, and a lot of the clerks, they went on this whole story and telling me about how the courthouse is haunted. And I think some of it's because back in the day they used to hang people at the courthouse as well,
Yeah, right next door to the courtroom.
and it was in like the square of where it was. And like the most recent example was 2 of the clerks were having a conversation, and all of a sudden the electronic paper towel dispenser just went and like was shooting out paper towels, like, and like not just like its normal like foot that it gives out, like just rolling it off the counter onto the floor, etc. And then it stopped. And they believe it was they have been talking about one specific judge who passed away recently at the time that it happened. And then later that day, the clerk, she spoke to that judge's widow, and she had mentioned of like, oh, I had this feeling that like he was going to be like visiting the courthouse, like his spirit. So I was like, oh, I'll buy into that. I find that very interesting.
Made a mess of the place, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you believe in ghosts?
I don't think.
I'll say I may I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. But one thing that did actually make me go, okay, well that's like, cause I think that a lot of times, like just we as humans, we just get creeped out by things really easily
Right.
because like stuff is creepy and like
Intelligent.
things-
So
yes,
yeah.
exactly. Like we're
You
just,
look
you know,
into
things,
things. Yeah.
things be weird. But one of my probably one of my most intelligent friends that I have back home, and who's not really like that. She moved in with her fiance, who lives up in Mohall, North Dakota.
Okay.
And he had
Sounds
told her
wonderful.
once that there was a ghost that lived out on the farm that he owns. And she was like, okay, crazy. Like, all right. Like, she was just like, you know, like, all right, you're like, that sounds stupid. But she woke up one night and she saw the ghost standing at the end of the bed.
Okay.
And
Oh, that
saw the
sounds,
ghost
that
at the end of the
scares me.
bed. And, she told her fiance, she said, I saw the ghost. And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. She goes, I drew him and I want to know, because he never said what the ghost looked like. He never told her anything. He just said that there was a ghost. He didn't want to talk about it. He had told her there was a ghost, but he had never wanted to talk about it. So she's like, I'm going to draw the ghost because I remember exactly what he looks like. And his outfit was very, like, it was a very, like, specific outfit that was kind of like, I'm guessing, like, kind of like General Custard kind of, like, military outfit.
Oshkosh bagosh coveralls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
say
course.
like a very old school, like, military uniform. And so she drew out this entire, colored it in, drew this whole guy out, and she showed it to her fiance, and he said, don't ever show that to me again. And I don't ever want to talk about it again. Because it was exactly what he had seen too inside of his house.
Okay.
I'm
And I
getting
was like,
chills.
I was like, okay, that's kind of fucking freaky.
Okay.
And like she's not like that. So I was like, she's not, just like, oh, there's ghosts. She just is not like that. And she was like, okay, yeah, she's like, I do officially believe in ghosts because I definitely saw him there. And then when I showed Jared that picture, he was like, yeah, okay, I don't ever want to speak about this again. We're not talking about it. Like, we're not doing it.
So I'm going to change my answer now because now I'm a believer.
Yeah,
That story put you over?
Yeah, put me right over.
Like, she's a fucking, she's got like her like doctorate, like they're both,
Right.
they're a very intelligent couple. Like,
educated
they're not,
individuals.
They are not Looney Tunes at all. Like,
well,
they're
and the fact
not
that he's
like that.
that he doesn't want to, so it's not like he's like going down the path of like, oh yeah, let's
No.
explore this. He's like, no, I don't want this to be
Opposite.
a thing, and I don't want so.
And the fact that she drew exactly what it looked like, I was like, oh, that is really freaky. And she could describe this like thing to like a T too, with like all the outfits. And then she, like, after she saw it and she drew it for him, she went and looked up like old soldiers' uniforms from whenever, and she found the uniform that this guy like looked like.
Holy!
And she was like, I'd never seen these. She's like, I just, like, what I drew was pretty much exactly what it was from like way back when.
That would be fascinating to talk to, like, have a historian look into that to see like what, like, the history of that property, someone who may have lived there,
Yeah.
or like what battles were in that area, or that would be so fascinating.
Yeah, or really, really scary.
Right.
For sale sign at the end of the
Yeah,
driveway.
but
Yeah.
they
Part of
built
it,
a
though,
new.
I feel like my brain, I have such an active imagination. I would have to do all the research into it to try to get some kind of closure through knowledge, personally.
Yeah.
So that I could wrap my mind around it. Otherwise, my brain would make up things that scare me more than what the truth probably is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't just leave it. I would have to go into a deep dive, like figuring this out.
The farmhouse that they lived in was there since like before 1900. So it was like a super old farmhouse that he was living in originally. So
Oh, God.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, so I talked, well, one, I imagine this to be, have you guys seen the TV show Ghosts on CBS? It's a comedy.
yeah, I've seen like previews and like clips from it.
I love it. It's a really, really cute show. But that's what I imagine now. Anytime I think about like ghosts, I'm like, no, they're like a bunch of friendly people who are like stuck in the clothing of what they were wearing when they passed away, like
Yeah.
talking to each other, hanging out, like being like, oh, what's she drinking today? Like just following like the lives of the people they're around, like just spying in on things. So I had to tell myself like it's in a positive. It's a good ghost. They're positive. It's
The only time I've thought about that way, other than like that show, is when those billionaires died over at the Titanic, and I was like, so are they like just like regular Titanic ghosts like chilling, and then all of a sudden they're like, who the fuck are you?
Right.
Why are you dressed like that? And they're like, funny story. We came to see you guys. They're just,
And like the ridicule that they must have received. They're like,
you dumbass.
you didn't take our story as a warning. You now came down here
Right.
and did this.
You came to visit us, you idiots.
So they're like, no, you're not allowed in the wreckage of the ship. You have to go stand out there on the ocean floor. You're too stupid to come in here with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be interesting. You could tell them how big the Titanic is now, though, these days. I mean, they would have no idea. They'd be like, are we just a forgotten footnote in history? Like, no, it's like a huge deal. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
It's like literally something that the entire world still talks about.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like a huge thing, and everybody knows everybody that was on there, and the famous people that were on there, and movies have been made, multiple movies.
Multiple. Yep.
Ones that took up multiple VHS tapes.
Right.
We even took the dedication to switch tapes to continue this story.
Yeah. And they'll be like, what's a cassette tape?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So fun stuff. So on that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Katie Joyce.
I have Dark Arts. It is the one finished in port wine cask.
Okay.
If I can set my microphone down without knocking things over.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, that was nothing.
Not much there. Not much there.
I have to blame John. He was really excited for this one. He poured himself some before we started recording.
Oh, it's his fault. It's his fault.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
the husband now, so he officially
Yes,
gets
that's
to
the
blame.
benefit of being married to me. I get to blame him now for any bad cork pop I
This
have.
is true. This is true. All right, Jeff, you're next.
I'm changing it up a little tonight. I've got some old Granddad 114.
Okay. Okay, solid.
That's clean.
Yeah, got really nice cork pop there. That's gonna be tough to beat. I'll go next. I've got the Michter's Toasted here, bourbon, the toasted bourbon. Let's see what we got here. Bought this at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Let's see what we got here. Nothing there. Beka was taking care of an errand for me. Allowed me to get that. She had to go to my car and put a parking pass in there while I bought a bunch of whiskey.
I did that too for you. I said, Steve, I'll go put that in there so you can get in line.
Right, I know, and I took advantage of it. I did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said,
friendship.
Steve, I need to get your keys.
Right.
He's like, I'm not even supposed to be in here.
I said it too loud too. Some people heard it. Luckily, they didn't tell me.
Oh,
All right, what do you got there, Beka?
I've got some Old Forester, the 117 series, batch number 3. It is signed by Melissa.
Okay.
Royce got this when he was on that fun little trip with you, Steve, and I
Oh,
worked
yeah.
at your barrel shop.
Yep, that was cool. Oh, Jeff, she got you. Ending your streak at 5. I thought you were gonna get number 6 in a row there,
It's on a
carrying
roll.
over 2 weeks, but it didn't happen. So
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers to Beka in particular. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Key West 2026. Some work's already been done. It's coming together pretty nicely. Should be a fun trip. We'll talk about that after the break. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show. All right, great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. We'll be mailing again, once again. Take care, everybody. See ya.
Happy Festivus!
Later.
Happy Festivus!
Yeah, happy Festivus.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about Key West 2026.
Yes, we are. So very exciting stuff. Trying to do some different things, mixing it up a little bit here. So the first thing is that's going to be different is a tiki bar tour in the Lower Keys. I'm getting on a bus and going outside of Key West and going to some tiki bars. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I love that idea.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, apparently there's some great tiki bars around there, and we don't go to those because we tend to just stay at Key West. So this is like the Lower Keys tiki bar tour. So pretty cool stuff.
You could even turn that into making a tiki mug to like commemorate the year.
Well, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Then people could buy, and that could turn into a whole thing.
That could turn into a thing, yeah. I'm really excited about it because I like tiki bars, and also one of the fun things too is we get happy hour pricing wherever we're at. We get their best deals because it's part of being on the cruise. So we'll be getting.
So
That
how
sounds
do you
awesome,
define a tiki bar? What defines that?
Kind of that Polynesian look, and then cocktails with multiple ingredients. You know, tiki cocktails tend to be very complex. Like, it's not uncommon to have 10 different ingredients in a tiki cocktail. Yeah. So, I mean, there's some classics like the Mai Tai and stuff like that, the zombie, but then you can get creative and get other things that are just have those sort of fresh ingredients, pineapple and stuff like that. So, yeah.
They're on fire sometimes.
No, sometimes they're on fire. So, sometimes they're served in a big bowl too. So, yeah. So, should be fun.
I really like that one, Steve.
Yeah, I think that is a great addition for sure. The next thing is also new. It's we did a pub crawl this year. It didn't work out too well. People over imbibed. So we're scaling that back, but we are going to hit some iconic bars and get their signature cocktail. So it's going to be like going to 4 different iconic Key West bars and getting their signature cocktail. So that should be fun. You get a taste for some great bars there, and Whiskey Rick's leading that one. So we'll see what he comes up with for us iconic bars and cocktails. So should be cool.
Yep, I'd say that we kind of half that day was gone.
Right.
After the first half of the day was just bar crawl. The second half of the day was either not remembered or
sleeping. Yeah.
Yes, or asleep. So
yeah. So we're going to try to avoid that this next year. So yeah. The next one is also going to be new. We're going to have a poker championship. So we're going to have a card game down there, win the Key West Poker Championship. Kind of a cool, fun thing, particularly if you're into the old Texas Hold'em, because that's what we'll be playing. Whiskey Rick is doing a new tour that he's putting together now. So it's a walking tour. It's Key West architecture. So there's a lot of interesting neat architecture down there. Some of it's traditional, so you'll get to see some of that. When people first began inhabiting the island, there was a certain look to, the homes that they lived in. You'll see some of that. You'll see some cool, just interesting homes and stuff like that. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'm always interested in something like that. So I think that's going to be good. Of course, we're going to be doing the bourbon dinner again. That was really popular this year, right, Beka? That was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And is it going to be at the VFW again?
It is, yeah. So once again, the VFW will host, and it'll combine us from the ABV Network as well as people from the general public. And we're talking about locals of Key West, really, not necessarily the tourists. They don't necessarily go to the VFW hall dinners and stuff like that. It's advertised to the locals, so that's who's going to be there. I don't think they put it on the board and sell just general public tickets or anything. On Saturday morning, we've got a time frame where there's 2 different class offerings, so you can pick and choose if you're interested in these. The first one, and again, these are going to be concurrently at the same time, so a cigar rolling class. So you actually take a class, you learn about cigars, you actually hand roll one yourself, and then you can smoke cigars, including the one that you hand roll if you want, stuff like that. I'm planning on doing that class. I don't smoke cigars, but I'm going to send it to Jeff, who writes cigar reviews for Bourbon Zeppelin. So I'm going to have him review my cigar and tell me what he thinks.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll do that.
Yeah. We'll see how I do.
I've done a cigar rolling class before, and it was a lot of fun. We did it in, I think, Dominican Republic or somewhere like that. But and we got to see like their whole process, and then whether we're making them and rolling them ourselves. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. This should be fun as well. Obviously, being that close to Cuba, you've got some great Cuban cigar rollers that live in Key West. So to learn from them should be cool. Not that, me going to one class, I'll be doing anything other.
I found those are good too. For even if someone's not like big into cigars, that the educational side of like, we'll teach you how to do this and we'll give you some information about it as well. That I found those can be enjoyed by people who already really enjoy cigars.
That's what I think too.
People who are new to it and just are interested in learning more about it. I think that's a great.
That's what I was thinking, Katie. I was thinking, it's totally a thing that if you like learning about process and something that, is a very old industry, people have been making cigars for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's kind of cool to learn what they do and how it's done.
Yeah,
and
I've never had the opportunity to do that. It would be a blast.
Yeah, very cool. The other class that's going on at the same time, again, the idea is it's probably a totally different audience. But within our group, we have people of all different interests and stuff like that. It's an ice cream making class. So there's Whiskey Rick is friends with the guy who owns a ice cream shop where they make their own ice cream, and you'll actually get to go and make some ice cream and eat the ice cream and all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
I want torn.
Yeah.
Totally
They use the liquid nitrogen, so it's you make it up and get to enjoy it right then and there. So should be.
That's cool.
That's fun.
I think that's kind of fun too. Yeah, I think that's pretty well thought out. And then a couple other things that we've got going on that are pretty cool. We are going to go on a mangrove tour. We've been talking about doing that for years. You can get either a kayak or a stand-up board if you have a preference. 1 or 2 person kayaks, and you just go and tour the mangroves, and you can see all kinds of cool, native wildlife, marine life and stuff like that. So it's a guided tour. This is a company that does it for a lot of the boats that come in, the cruise ships. So they're very adept and used to dealing with people of limited skills. So if you think, I'm not sure if I'm good enough to do this, man, they deal with people who've never done this before at all different ages too. So if you think about cruise ships, tends to be people who are older for the most part. So this is one that can be enjoyed by anybody. So should be cool.
Have you all done those stand-up paddle boards? I've done them a few times, and I always think like, this looks simple. I'd be able to do that. And then I get out there and just going from like kneeling to standing or moving around at all. Suddenly I am like frozen and like trying to overly plan out every single weight shift and movement. And it has been, I didn't fall as much as I could have, but it has not been.
So if you were going to go do this, Katie, you have some experience here. Would you go for the traditional seated kayak or would you go for the stand-up paddleboard?
Part of my problem is I'd be tempted to go for the stand-up paddleboard, but I feel like once I'm out there, I'd regret it and wish I was in a kayak.
Right.
I'd probably do kayak.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Although really, is a raft an option? Can you go float trip style, like and just get a
I
big tube
I'm not
raft
sure.
to pull you around?
Huh. I don't think they have that
No,
actually. I don't think so.
Guided tour.
Right.
it's
Yeah.
usually my preferred style on float trips of just make it so I can bump into whatever I need to and keep going
Right.
down the river. So
Yeah.
no flipping.
Yeah. Um, a couple more things. Dark Arts is going to do a haunted spirits tour. If you know the Dark Arts brand and Macaulay Mitten, he's definitely big into that. And he's learning a lot about putting together a haunted tour because he's doing one in New Orleans for the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. You know, it's going to incorporate pours as well as going to haunted places. Whiskey Rick does a haunted tour, so he's got the same sort of professional experience down there to assist him in putting this together in Key West. So it's going to be something different for us. Should be a fun thing for sure. And then the last one, on Sunday, we're going to do another sandbar cruise. So Becca did that this past time, and yeah, it's a fun time, right, Becca?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was a little chilly, but we still had a blast.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we won't see chilly weather next year. I mean, that was
So
chilly as
you
we get down
mentioned Saturday and Sunday. What days are most people down there?
there. Most people,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
yeah.
They're probably the most populated days, right?
I would say those are the most populated days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some do as short as get there on Thursday, leave Saturday afternoon. But others are there Tuesday to Monday. So and anything in between.
What's the most popular method that people use for getting down there? They use,
Flying, yeah.
well, like
Fly
into Miami and then driving down, or
I
that's
think
like a
most
very
it's
smaller
in the
plane.
Key West.
We all
There's always
fly
some
into
that
Key West.
yeah. There's always some that do the Miami thing because can be cheaper. But if you order in advance, we found that it's not really that big of a difference. But if you wait too long, it gets to be a big difference. Then that Miami to Key West flight fills up, and then you got to pay for it. So a lot of people end up driving. It's the ones that wait. So is what we found. So
But most of us just fly right into Key West.
yeah, it's really
That's
easy.
really the easiest. And it's a pretty long drive from Miami, so
It is.
And you have to rent a car.
Got to
and
rent
all
a
those
car,
things, so-
and if there's an accident, you're screwed
Yeah.
because it's a 2-lane highway for the most
Oh
part.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other way you can do it is what me and Eddie did one year, which we flew into Fort Myers.
Oh,
And there's it's the Key West Express is what it's called, but it's a boat that goes from Fort Myers down to the Keys. It takes about, I think it's like 3.5, 4 hours. But into Fort Myers can be cheaper for some people, and also it's a really fun boat ride. It feels like you're kind of on a plane the way that it's like set up. You can sit inside or outside. There's drinks and there's food, and it's really pretty because you're just like cruising across the ocean.
Right.
And it's actually a really cool thing to do. So Eddie and I did that one year,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun. So Key West Express, highly recommend it. Especially like when you're going to Key West, it's in the morning. When you're leaving Key West, it's in the evening. And so you get to like watch the sunset on the ocean, and it's really pretty.
Yeah.
cool. I heard about that.
Gulf of America.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. What else? Any questions? It sounds pretty good, don't you guys think? I think we're going to have
Sounds
it here.
great so far.
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So some of that, most of it's pretty well locked in. Still working on some things, so things could shift a little bit or change. But so don't hold me to necessarily anything there. But that's the idea. That's the plan as it stands today. So we'll see.
I'm holding you to a high level of fun.
Okay. Well,
Are you going
that
to
you
come
can
with
do.
this year?
Yeah,
this
Jeff,
coming
you
year?
gonna be there?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
I would love to. I'm missing out. Fear of missing out. I need to be there.
What
Okay.
are the dates again?
Let's see here. I can look that up real quick. Let's see here. Oh, I can just look here on my calendar. Got my calendar pulled up here. Let's see. All right. It's going slower than I thought. Okay. Sorry about that.
property hunting, is that built in here anywhere where you're looking for a place to buy?
Gotta look for a place to buy while you're there. It's good. So it is officially Tuesday, January 20th to Monday, January 26th, are the official dates that we publish. But again, you can work out whatever works for you in between there. So, because everybody's on their own for booking their own travel and whatever they want to do. So, yeah, and we'll see if hotel prices come down. That's been the big barrier for a lot of people. So we'll see if things happen to bring them down. One thing that has certainly come down is Uber. We stay in Newtown. And of course, the other side of the island, Old Town, is where everything happens. So we're across the island, our hotel that we typically stay at. It used to be a $25 Uber ride. This year was like $10. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just more Uber drivers down there, so
Probably.
competition, increases, prices come down. But yeah, it was great this year. I mean, a $10 ride is like a no-brainer. You don't even think twice about that. When you're looking at doing $25 and maybe, going there in the morning, coming back in the afternoon, and then going back, $100 worth of Uber rides in a day, that kind of gets old. But it doesn't feel too bad when it's only $10 a piece.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
That's kind of cool.
That's good news.
That is good news. So some good things are happening. So
Yeah.
There you go. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Jeff, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and the Cigar Dojo, Jeff Andreezy. That's 2 I's and 2 Z's.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff, just to clarify real quick, where did you get that little slogan from? I just want to make sure that the
Jim
public is
Gokin?
aware.
Jim
Oh,
Gokin.
Jim,
Yeah,
yeah, because Jim Gokin thinks that you started this little trend. I just want to make sure that everyone is clear.
I will be very clear that before my very first podcast in February of 2024, I think, I had to write this out, and it was all done respect for Beka Sue's outro. I came right from her. I stole it. Imitation is.
Did you at any point tell Gokin you invented that? Is this where his confusion comes from?
He never asked.
Did he reach out and say, "I really like how you do that. I'd like to do that"? And you're like, "Yeah, that's my thing."
Nothing.
Okay.
It made for a great rant, and he deserved everything he got.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I also just want to clarify, Jeff, I am not mad at you at all.
Thank God. Thank God.
You dodged one there, Jeff. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that the only one who's in hot water around here is Jim Gokin.
Yeah. He tried pulling you in on that one, Jeff, but
I heard that, and it's like, what is he saying? Wait a minute.
Right.
That's
right. Well.
Jimmy Medium Hands. I don't know. 2 M's, couple of Z's.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Sorry to throw you off there, Steve.
Yeah. No problem. Katie, how about you?
You can find me over on Instagram at Katie Proof, 1K no C's.
All right. Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram under Miss Beka Sue, 1K no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check that one out. Everything that we do is out there. Also, come by and see me, the ABV Barrel Shop. We always got cool stuff going on, new barrel picks, fun things happening in terms of classes and stuff like that. You can find out more about all that stuff and get on our email distribution over at abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you're in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.